You can make an argument about Eagle momentum. About Atlanta momentum. They got a little juice right now. They beat Carolina week 17. The Rams, they were convincing. They got experience. They got a little revenge thing going. Or you can go with the Eagles, who got a little chip on their shoulder because they feel nobody's respecting their record. They're home. They're an underdog. First one seed, by the way, Phil, you probably don't pay attention to this. First one seed since 1970, home as an underdog. So where do I go with Atlanta and Philadelphia quickly? Go ahead.
Well, I did hear that, and I'll be quick. I think it's going to be, when you talk about this, these two defensive fronts for both teams are outstanding. And, you talk about the Philadelphia Eagles. They have 8 guys on the defensive front that can hit the quarterback, and they are wicked. And they play a style of defense. Last year they played up in Philadelphia, the Atlanta Falcons did. I'm not sure it was their worst offensive game of the year, but it was pretty close to it. And why? It's because the style that Jim Schwartz teaches on defense. He gets defensive linemen wide. It makes it hard for Atlanta to run the football outside. It's really difficult. And, all this chip on your shoulders and all that other stuff, I don't know if that means anything. Look, when the game starts, you just play. But I think it's going to be a very aggressive defensive game. And just to simplify it, I think Philadelphia has a better offensive line than the Atlanta Falcons do, and that's going to be the difference in the game, and I think Philadelphia is going to find a way to win.
Wow, good one, Phil. Excellent. We'll get back to that in a minute. Let's get your thoughts on the Saints. I didn't love them the last few weeks. I think Minnesota's been sitting there. I think they got a great blend defensively. Their offense. You'd be a little worried about Case Keenum. I know you've been high on him all year, so maybe not you, but I think the rest of us. I think Minnesota's. I think they will win. I think they deserve to be the favorite, but obviously most people think this is the best game of the weekend. What's your take on Saints-Vikes here?
Yeah. I think it's. I would say yes. I'm excited to see the game. My thoughts are that Mike Zimmer, you got to be ready to coach and make some tough decisions. And I remember the opening game of the year they played, and Minnesota's Sam Bradford played the game of his life. It's the best game I ever saw him play. And, of course, then he gets hurt, and we basically don't see him the rest of the year. But the Saints defense that Minnesota saw in Week 1 is not the one they're going to play against now. The one in Week 1 was doing every crazy thing in the world. They made so many unbelievable mistakes from professional football players that they deserve to get blown out by 20 points. Sean Payton, they are tough. And I don't think they're, you said it right. You should be worried about them. They got beat down in Tampa Bay, and then they really struggled. Of course, Carolina's a good football team, but there were some things that you saw that you just go, wow, that worries me, because Carolina's passing game is nothing special. So on the defensive side, I think Mike Zimmer and that defense, even though it's good, and they like to just play their style, not take any chances, let our athletes win, I think they're going to have to be more aggressive if they're going to win this game against the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I like Minnesota. Yourself?
Me too. I like Minnesota. Case Keenum, I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. The offense is well designed, and, New Orleans, they can be over-aggressive on defense, so you can take advantage of them sometimes in certain situations. So, again, I expect Case Keenum, look, he's played fearless, tough, gritty, all that stuff. He really, to me, is the personality of their football team. And they got to let him do it. Don't go there in that game and be afraid of your quarterback and then put him in run, third and 8.
He's a defensive coach. You definitely get the idea he doesn't completely trust Keenum. He's got Bridgewater and he's got Bradford sitting there. That would worry me a little bit with Zimmer. Your thoughts?
Well, it won't be. Did you see Teddy Bridgewater come into the game a few weeks ago?
He was bad in the game. I didn't see it.
He looked like he was still limping. So I don't know why. And why would you make these comments? I'm befuddled constantly about – I like Mike Zimmer as much as any coach in the league. He's great to people who do the games and all that stuff. He'll talk to anybody. He tells you stuff. But these comments that he's continuously made about Case Keenum, and then our offense has been basically, he says, we've just been okay, and we haven't been explosive. Man, they're winning. and they're dominating. And I just watched their last game of the year. I thought, well, it's pretty good, for playing the Chicago Bears and this and that, whatever. But he should have faith in Case Keenum, and I don't think Case Keenum's worried about it, Chris. He's been through the wars. He came up the hard way. He's about a 1 in 1,000 chance of being in this situation. He's there, so there's no time to hold back now.
All right, which game intrigues you the most this weekend as a football guy?
Oh.
Not the Tennessee game, I know that.
That's out. That's out. I like them all. The other three, big time. I mean, I just can't wait to watch them all. But if I had to pick one, I probably would take Philadelphia and Atlanta.
Okay, interesting.
Just because it's going to be in that stadium, that atmosphere, and I think it's going to be wicked. I really do.
Do you think Peterson will be conservative in 20 seconds and and run the ball all day? You think he'll give Foles a chance to do something?
Doug Peterson, get the quarterback under the center, hand it to those two running backs and do that. That's what I see. Don't be in the shotgun and make it easy for the defense to see what you're going to do most of the time. So I'm the opposite. Let your offensive line wear down the Atlanta front and win the game because you're bigger and stronger than the other team. That's what I would hope if I was a Philadelphia Eagles fan.
All right, so right now you think obviously New England big. Seems like you like Philly. You would like Minnesota, I'm assuming a relatively close game.
Yes.
And you like the Patriots, and you like Jacksonville to be very competitive against Pittsburgh. Probably lose, but a competitive game. Is that correct?
I would be I'll be so disappointed if it's not a very competitive football game. I really will, just because I think that highly of the Jacksonville defense. And, the Philadelphia, early in the week, I took the Atlanta Falcons on Showtime. But then I had a chance to really look at the teams and think about it and watch stuff during the week, and I thought, oh man, no, I like Philadelphia. I like the fact that they are a really big football team.
And you love that size.
And big physical football teams can overcome a lot of things in the playoffs.
We will watch you all weekend, Phil. Great job. Thanks so much, pal.
Chris, thank you, man. You have a good weekend.
More to do.